In this video, you are going to learn the 6 elements that are needed to form a contract. So you might be wondering, what is a contract? Well, first we're going to learn the shorthand. So in this class, our contract is going to be represented by the letter K. Now you know my name starts with a K, so I love that. Contracts, K is going to be our shorthand. Now we're going to make a list of the 6 elements that make up a contract. So if you were in an elevator and you had to tell somebody really quickly what the definition of a contract is, you're going to be able to rattle this list off so quickly after a few repetitions of these elements. So the first thing we have to have is an agreement. So we're going to start with an agreement, which is usually formed through either performance or through verbal conversations that create an understanding between the parties. We're going to come back to this. So then our second ingredient here is an agreement between, we'll do some shorthand, we need competent parties. We're going to focus a ton in our chapters on what competency means, but for the baseline it means that somebody has the legal understanding and ability to enter a binding agreement. And then when we're talking about a contract, we're not just making a promise and a deal to ourselves because, well, we could break that deal really easily. We're making a promise between ourselves and another party, and this could be 2+ people. We need at least 2, but it could be more than 2. So then between the competent parties, we need to see those folks exchange consideration. Consideration I like to draw on these arrows. We're going to come back to those arrows in future lectures, but the idea is it's the bargain for exchange between the parties. If you scratch my back, I'll give you a cookie. It's the exchange between us. So in addition to us having competent parties that are exchanging and giving something to the other party, we need to make sure that there's genuine assent. So here we're looking at, well, you didn't twist my arm to get that cookie. I wanted to give it to you, so I, without any force, decided in my free will to enter that engagement with you. So we need both parties or all the parties to our transaction to, in their free choice, want to sign on to this contract. So then the final 2 that we need to see these 6 elements all together is that we need to make that agreement for a lawful purpose. That means that I cannot hire you to go kill the professor who gave me an F in college. I can't hire you if I'm 19 years old to say, hey, I'll give you $25 if you get me that 6-pack. Now, you might hear transactions like this, but what we're looking at is saying that's not a legal binding contract, because in order to be a binding contract, we have to have a lawful purpose to begin with, that we're making our agreement with that other party. And then the final one, even though it's here at the end, it's actually a rule that we're going to come back to and spend a lot of time with, because this rule says that your contract has to be in the form required by law. So we're going to write lawful required form. The shorthand of what element 6 means is that, listen carefully, some contracts must be in writing in order to be enforceable. However, not all contracts must be in writing. That one has a lot of different pieces to it. But now if we go back to the top and we say, okay, elevator, somebody is wanting to know what a contract is, what do we say? We say that a contract is an agreement between competent parties, at least 2 of them, based on consideration. I'm going to give you this, you're going to get this in return. I wanted to give it to you based on genuine assent. Our contract's for a lawful purpose, and at the end of the day, we've found the form for our agreement that meets the standards of the law. 6 elements to your contract. Repeat them to yourself a few times. This should be a sentence that becomes kind of burned into the center of your forehead. A contract is an agreement between competent parties based on consideration with genuine assent for a lawful purpose in the form required by law.